All right. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I am really excited about my next guest, Chris Lee. We met through a mutual contact on Facebook, and I am so excited to dive into what he has for us today. Energy, out of this world type of thinking. I mean, I can't even put it into words. So you're just gonna have to tune in and see exactly what I'm talking about. So at this time, I'm gonna give Chris the opportunity to introduce himself so we can dive into the interview.
Okay. Thanks for having me on your show, Lachelle,
Mhm.
and what have you. So, my name is Chris Lee, as you mentioned. Technically, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I specialize in my system I developed of past life regression therapy. So, it sounds like a big title, and it's actually not too bad.
Mhm.
Clinical hypnotherapy is basically a therapist using hypnosis. There is no magic, there's no loss of control. There's no barking like dogs. Those are hypnotist shows. Okay. So what I do is I generally go out on tour, and I've been doing this for 25 years, but I've been touring for the last 10. I do a talk which explains to people not what past lives are about, but what I do, because it's all hypnosis is deep relaxation. So what happens is that the first thing I usually do with the group is I put up, show of hands, how many people believe in past lives? And most people put their hand up because they came because that's what I do, but not always. Then I ask anybody just not sure, and then some hands go up. Usually men, because men were more, skeptical. Yet I work with 5 male medical doctors and 2 female, and you'd think they'd be skeptical. They're not. And they know about the placebo effect or the power of the mind. So I do ask if anybody doesn't. And I did have actually a lady in one town. She was big. It was a big talk, a big attendance, and she had her hand up slowly and didn't said, for not believing. Then she said, "But I have a good excuse." I said, "What is it?" She said, "My daughter needed a ride here tonight." She believes in it. Okay, so see, she'd actually asked a lot of questions. Then I asked everybody, show of hands, how many people ever been hypnotized? Very few people put their hand up, so I politely tell them that they're all lying because we're in hypnosis 5 to 20 times per day. Just
Wow.
that people don't realize what it is. They think of it as the stupid hypnotist shows or going to a hypnotherapist. All hypnosis, Lachelle, is self-hypnosis. It's just called deep relaxation. There's no wandering away, no la la land. You don't disappear. That's TV. TV likes to not be the most accurate thing. It's called entertainment. That's why you see sometimes people swinging a watch, and they think, oh, there's a hypnotist. He's swinging a watch. Well,
Mhm.
I know no hypnotist or hypnotherapist that uses a watch because it's beyond me how you can see a watch when your eyes are closed, way beyond me. Because how would you relax by closing your eyes? It's all deep hypnosis. But to give you some quick examples, do you remember high school?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a boring subject?
Yes.
Did you ever daydream during that boring subject?
Yes.
Yes. That's hypnosis, deep relaxation. Your
Mm.
conscious is racing around about 3 times faster than the subconscious. And let me explain. First of all, that's what that's what makes up the human mind, conscious, subconscious, not left brain, right brain. Get over that. That's a physical thing. But your conscious is about 5%, and it's never been to a past life. It's just you can think of it as a processor. The subconscious is powerful. It holds every single detail. I can take you back to watch yourself being born. That's how the memories are, because energy around you also absorbs and records the scene. But what happened though is that it's deep relaxation. Another way of explaining hypnosis: have you ever read a book or watched TV so intently you don't hear people talking to you?
Yeah.
That's hypnosis, deep focus
Okay.
concentration. How would you memorize stuff when we used to have to memorize in school? By blocking stuff out, focus. And the biggest thing to prove to everybody that they're fibbing is I say, who slept in the last 24 hours? Hands go up. Sleep is hypnosis because it's only deep relaxation. How much more relaxed can you get by sleeping? So then I say, who's been hypnotized? So they all have to put their hand up. And then I said, did anybody force you to daydream? Anybody force you to ignore them when you're watching TV? No, it's self-hypnosis. I cannot hypnotize you. I help you
Mm,
slow down. But all it is Lachelle, slowing down the conscious, close to the subconscious. It means easier to get to the memories because the conscious is basically
mm.
spinning around so fast. Pardon me. So that's how I work. Now, what
Okay,
I
now let
do,
me ask you a quick question because you say
sure,
that we
sure,
do this 5 times a day. So you brought up some good
five
examples.
to 20 times a day.
5 to 20 times a day. So when people now are stressed out, they have a lot of fear. How does that play out now? Do you think people still are hypnotized the same? Because you say it's relaxation. So you have people who cannot relax right now. What happens with them?
Well, first of all, it's pretty hard to do it yourself. I cannot do what I do to myself because I have to ask myself questions. And if I'm asking questions, you're thinking. What it's all about is that it's past life. Now, if you're not sure about it and you think you made it up, I don't care. It doesn't matter because when your ache or pain, fear, phobia disappears, which is what people come to see me about, that persistent ones, the ones that won't go away.
Mhm.
If it if it disappears, does it matter whether you believe in it or not? No.
Right.
So, but what happens is that how it works, try to make this shorter, is that I'm first of all, I'm not a reader. I can't tell you what you did in a past life. People think like, oh, what was I in a past
Okay.
life? I don't know. You might have had 1,000. How the heck would I know? And second is, how does that help you? What it is my system is that when people watch my video or come to my talk, they'll see that I help you get rid of persistent. The word is persistent. Like if you hurt yourself yesterday, well, that's not a problem that I'm going to work on. But if you've hurt yourself, like even in car accidents, people say, well, it's not past life. I had a car accident. And the
Mm,
last one I talked to, he said, how long ago was that? Oh, 10 years ago. Well, your body can generally heal itself with like a broken bone. 7 weeks, you can fix it. But if the pain continues, it means you triggered. Now, what it is the past lives are what you're triggering. The whole premise about what I'm doing and what it's all about is that it's to do with body cell memory. It's been proven, the AMA has proven a few years ago that people with organ transplants are picking up the traits of the person that had that organ. So, like one guy hated pizza, loved pizza. So, body cell memory. Now, what
Now,
it's
let
about,
me ask you a question. Now, this
sure.
is
Mhm.
pertaining to myself. So, my last hospitalization after depression, I had to have a blood transfusion. My iron went really low. And ever since I had that transfusion, I do not eat meat, total vegetarian. Didn't think about it before. So, I used to
Mhm.
always joke with my kids. I said, well, the person who gave me blood must have been a vegetarian.
That's a
So,
good
what do
strong.
you
That's a
think
good
about
strong.
that?
It's a good strong possibility because again, organ transplants is part of that person. So
Mhm.
that's a good possibility. But let me go further on that. What it's about is apparently we come into this world with a lesson to learn. We
Okay.
determine the lesson ahead of time. We actually are not. We're actually energy. That's why we don't die. We just get another body. We're in energy. Energy, why we come into the human form, Michelle, is because energy does not feel aches and pains. And apparently we're supposed to learn that for our group to become more mature. Why? I don't know. When anybody gets too deep, I just say, don't know. But I know how to get rid of your aches and pains. So that helped. So what happens is we come into the human form, we totally forget the lesson. And that's because how would you learn if you had the script in your hand? Okay. So we
Right.
use free will. Now, what happens is through the many lives, we often screw them up and don't finish the lesson. Either we got killed too young or we really screwed up. Maybe you're supposed to have been like Mother Teresa and you became Jack the Ripper. I think you screwed up. So what happens, Lachelle, apparently, is that the lessons, when they're not finished, don't go away. Every life we come into,
Mm.
apparently we have a new lesson, but the other ones drag in. That's why we have the aches and pain. I had a lady in Australia had 32 items she wanted me to work on. Some people bring in lots of stuff not finished. Now, what it's about is to do with the memory cells. Again, is that they whatever pain or ache or if you were hung, that's why a lot of people then can't wear stuff around their neck too tight or have people touch their neck. That means you've either been hung, strangled, or beheaded. I call that, gave it a funny title called turtleneck syndrome. Okay, can't wear turtlenecks. So what happens is whatever pain it was, that comes with you, because your subconscious is
Mm.
very powerful. It brings the memories. It doesn't have a right or wrong. It just knows you didn't finish that lesson, so here comes the pain from that life, and you got to continue from it. Well, we don't know what our past lives are on our own. It's like you don't wake up and say, "Oh, I remember there are 5 more in my past life." It doesn't work that way. So what happens is like the pain continues. A good example of what I'm saying, my system works on cause and effect. Have
Mm-hmm.
you ever had stress, Michelle, in your life?
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah,
depressed for. I mean, hospitalized for it.
yeah. Well, this is straight. Yeah. Did you ever get a headache from it?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of people do. The point I'm making here is most people take a painkiller. I'm not going to mention brands because they already make enough money, and that will probably get rid of the headache. But does that get rid of the stress?
No.
No, because it didn't go to the cause. That is what you do when I take you back to your past lives, and I don't see it. I just ask questions, and like say you come in with a shoulder pain you had for 10 years, and in the session I slow you down, help you slow down, and you can answer the questions easier. I'll say let your subconscious show you the cause of why you have the pain in your shoulder. Within seconds, you're going to see or sense, oh, I'm in a battle. I'm wearing armor. Okay. Then somebody just poked me with it or stabbed me with the sword in my shoulder. And what I'll do is after you see that for a few seconds, then I'll say, now move your shoulder. And this happens all the time. All of a sudden, that person who couldn't raise their hand past this is now waving their arm around. In fact, a lady in a car accident last year on my tour came to me. She said she had a car accident. Yes. So, no, it must be past life. No, she said. But I said, okay, how long ago was the accident? She said, a year and a half. I said, have you done anything about it? And she said, for the last 7 months, I've been taking physiotherapy. I said, how's that going? And she said, well, I can almost bring my hand up to about that high. And she had a lot of pain in her eyes. I said, put your arm down. Sure
Mm-hmm.
enough, in a past life, she got speared in her shoulder. Same one. Now, I don't lead people. I don't say, is it the one that hurts? I say, which shoulder? And the fact that it's the one that always hurts for people is 100%. And
Mm.
she was the one actually also was bringing her arm up after I had a lady in New Zealand cancer operation because she couldn't get her right arm up high. Now, and then she was trying to, laughingly, she left trying to touch the lights. That's how
Wow.
quick. See, it's all about see where it came from. You finish the lesson. That's still there. It still has to be finishing the lesson. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to work on it. But the point is that by seeing where it comes from, you don't have to bring in the aches and pains or the fears and phobias. Here's my example of
Oh.
how my system works. I call mine the unknown noise.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, I want me to spell that for you. Some people take a big name. No, unknown noise. I want you to do a word picture.
Okay.
Let's pretend that you live alone and it's a dark, spooky, windy night. Okay, wind's howling. Middle of
Mm-hmm.
the night, there's a crash, and you jump up and go, "What the is that?" Being polite there. Then you hear it again, and you realize it's just the wind blowing a branch against the window. So unless you feel it's going to break, you go back to sleep. Later that night, there's another crash, a different sound, a big loud crash, and you jump up and go, "What the is that?" Then you hear it again, you go, "I don't know what that is." Now that's when you start running amok, like, oh, somebody coming to kill me, boogeyman, or rob or whatever. So unless we check it out, which most people wouldn't, we go back to childhood. We pull up our bulletproof covers, and nothing's going to get through there. Yeah, yeah. You don't sleep well. Get up in the morning to go to work. Going out the door, still windy, and you hear that noise again, and you look to the left where it was. It's a metal garbage can. The neighbor's got a can now. Used to have a bags. The dogs like the bags better. Anyway, when you see that, Lachelle, you're going to make a very profound statement, which is, it's a garbage can, plus some adjectives about the stupid neighbor. Now, still going, almost done. Next night, another dark, spooky, windy night. Wind's howling again. Garbage can blows over. There's a 50-50 chance you don't even wake up. But if you do, you're going to make your profound statement again, which is,
That garbage can.
yeah,
That
that
metal
stupid
garbage.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Now, there's a point here. The noise is the same both nights. Why doesn't it bother you on the second night?
Because you know what it is.
Perfect answer. You know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
unless you feel the garbage cans are coming to kill you, you would let it go. But if I
Right.
told you it's a garbage can, That's like a reader saying, "Oh, I know it's a garbage can." I don't know about you, but if it was me, and that was the second night, and I still didn't know it was a garbage can, I'd go, "I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. He just doesn't live here." And I just peek out the window. It is a garbage can. Bottom
Right.
line is, we're an animal that likes to see to believe. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it works. So when you have a ache or pain, fear, and phobia, you make a list of the stuff, and in a session I can work on 2 to 5 different, maybe sometimes 7 items. And what it is I just, in order, I just say, let your subconscious now take you to the cause of past life to do with your fear of heights. And within seconds. Now, the one thing I like to point out to people is that your chance of having an ab reaction is 0. You don't go, "Oh my God, I'm falling." First of all, for some reason, it always starts just before. And you're watching. I have you move back and watch, because you can watch. You don't have to look through the eyes. You can actually move back, move up, because your energy is all around us. And you watch it, because the only feeling you're going to feel is relief. That's where it came from. Not, "Oh my God," or you see yourself as a bad guy. And one person one told me, says, "I don't want to do this. What if I was bad in a past life?" And I looked and I said, "I guarantee it. It's
Right.
like a play. We all take turns being the big. It's not a chick flick. Life.
Exactly.
Somebody has to be the good guy, and seeing yourself as a bad guy doesn't change your attitude about yourself,
That's
because
true.
it's just the way it is. So
Now
there's a
let
lot.
me ask you a question now.
Sure.
So if everything is energy and you're learning this lesson, how do you have the cell memory if you're taking on a different body?
Because it's nothing to do with the body. It comes in with the mind. The energy, our energy carries it. Then it gets put into the body cells, or the that memory of that past life triggers the body cells, which holds it in the current life. No, it's not the body. It's the energy that holds the. That's why, for example, you can have a number of siblings. Some people have lots and lots of them. Okay, but what it is that they all have different likes and dislikes. Yet if you have the same parents, wouldn't you all be the same as your parents? No, it's because we've all had different pre-lives, different lives and stuff like that. So that's how this works. Fears and phobias are one of the easiest ones to get rid of.
Mhm.
But I had one guy that, I'll tell you right now, heights is the number one. I've worked on 141 lives. In fact, I have to, excuse me for a quick second.
Okay.
Okay. I have four. I have 4 books out right now. They started off with the life in the past lane, but then I
Okay.
found I had so many different case histories, so I put it more specific. Here's life in the past lane, fears and phobias. So what happened is that these are case histories, not a how-to. It doesn't work that way. But a lot of people read them and go, "I didn't know you could get rid of that, because that guy did in this book." Because I don't have time to read 141 things. But getting a little detail or instructions for fears and phobias is quite interesting. This one guy had a fear of heights, came to my session, and he said that he had been told to face his fears. So I
Mhm.
said, "Oh, that's interesting. What did you do?" And he said, "I went skydiving." So I went, that might have helped, knowing it didn't. And then I said, "Did it work?" And he sort of sheepishly looked at me and said, "I still can't climb ladders." I don't think it worked. No, you have to find where it came from. That's like, see, it's the garbage can. That's how you
Mhm.
get rid of it. Facing your fear it doesn't work. It numbs you a bit, but it doesn't work.
Right.
What do you think are the top 4 most common fears are?
Um,
Heights is first, yeah.
heights. You're saying of things outside of you? Because I think a lot of it is fear of people feeling rejected. Like everybody is gonna
Okay,
laugh at them or
that's
something like
yeah,
that, like
yeah,
stage fright or something.
that's sort of in there, but it's not. The top 4 fears are heights, claustrophobia.
Okay.
I'm going to jump to number 4. Number 4 is deep water.
Okay.
Yeah. And number 3 sort of sounds odd. It's fear of success.
Mm.
People think it's not quite like a snake or spider, but comes the same.
Right.
Because if you got killed when in past lives for being rich, or you became too well known and then they killed you, and you hadn't finished the lesson, Well, in this life, your subconscious shows you that life, that what have you, and stuck and says, don't get too successful, you might get killed. That's why
Mhm.
people often do self-sabotage themselves, make stupid decisions just so they don't get too close to being rich and getting killed. But yeah, there's tons of in there, but actually spiders and that are number five. But the top
Okay.
four are the ones I just mentioned.
Wow.
But there's lots of ones of. So now what happened again is that other fears like you're talking about, more on the emotional side, I call it debilitating emotions. And
Okay.
we're I had a list here: fear, guilt, anger, depression, anxiety, stuck feeling, all these
Mhm.
different like emotions, they come from past lives that you're still stuck in. You
Mm.
didn't leave. Apparently, if you read Michael Newton's books on life between lives, which is a pretty good book, is that when we go into the human body to learn lessons, only about 10% of our energy is needed because our energy is so strong. Think of that also like putting a computer into a robot. Boom. If it
Mhm.
was too powerful, it would blow it up. But when we die or leave the body, go back to human form, I take people through those and they'll find they're very interesting. Nothing to be alarmed about. Is that energy generally goes back home. I call it the soul group. And I always take people, I think I said, to the soul group so they can see who's in there. What happens is that we have free will. We don't have to leave that body because often if we don't, it's a very strong emotion like anger or revenge. I'm going to kill the guys that killed me, or am I, I got more to do. Am I really dead? I got to help my family, which is kind of hard to do. It's hard to get a job when you're dead. And there's a few of those things. Now, those are strong emotions. What happens is they are affecting you because you're part of the same main energy. And the thing is, you don't know where it came from. That is why people go to therapy for years and years. A lady I worked with not too long ago, she said that she'd like to know why she's always feeling angry. She said, life is good, it's been good, but I'm always angry. And I said, well, let's check it out. Sure enough, she had one of their stuck lives, and we generally have two or three or four. One of her stuck lives was there because he was angry at the people that killed him. And he held it and he had died about 300 years ago, but it was there. But the point is that she felt it. It was from him. Now, I have you then take them home one at a time. So I said, now go and see that guy. It's really you. And again, it seems to work by saying that. I don't see it in my mind that they go knock on the doors and say, come on, I don't know how, but they just somehow they go see it. I said, how are they reacting seeing you? Sometimes it's surprise, sometimes anger. And then I say, tell them it's time to go home. And then take their hand. And when they say they're taking their hand, then I know they're ready. Sometimes they're not. We have to talk a bit more. But she took the hand, and the two of them headed back to the soul group, wherever that is. And as they got closer to it, that one that was stuck felt better about going home. Now, when they are there, then I said, how did that affect that one being stuck with anger affecting you? She says, I don't know, but I don't feel angry anymore. I said, I've been to 4 years of therapy and it's done nothing. You did this in 5 minutes. All it is seeing where it comes from, but also it was one of your stuck parts of you that affected you. And if you don't know, remember, if you don't know it's a garbage can, that's why the noise can keep bothering you. So that's
So
so
true. Now
simple.
let me ask you this. So how
Okay.
did you get started with this? Because this is like, right now a lot of people are reflecting, they're trying to find their true purpose. During this pandemic, a lot of things just
Yeah.
have
More time
come
to
full
think.
circle. So
Yeah.
people are like, they want to find themselves, they want to do what they're passionate about and all these different things. So
Mm-hmm.
how did you get into this? Because, this isn't something that
You mean
you
in
hear
general
about.
or the emotion?
Right. No, just in terms of being in the role that you are
Okay.
with
As I
this.
said, I took the training 25 years ago. Clinical hypnotherapy just happened to show up, and I decided, I think I'd like to give that a try.
Oh,
The point is that almost every hypnotherapy school does not teach past life. because a lot of them, just like doctors, they get taught hypnosis too, but they, don't believe in it. So, but we saw a demonstration done during the training by somebody asked the main teacher, and he showed us. When I saw it, it was like, holy mackerel. Then I went to start my own practice. It's always funny why do people say it's a practice? Why don't they learn first and then why practice on me? But that's like, the expression, I opened my practice. Anyhow, babbling. So I found that using current life therapy
Mm-hmm.
wasn't very effective. And it's
Mm.
basically stereotyping, smoking, weight, and confidence. Then I decided after about a year that I'm going to check further into this past life. Now, all I could find was that go get the books of some of the authors, Michael Newton, Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, Dick Sutphin. So he's the one that discovered the energy in Sedona, Arizona, and read books. So I started reading the books and practicing on my volunteers, and I found, wow, I found that using past life regression to work on their concerns, instead of being only about 20-25% effective, became 95%, because that's where it came from. If you go to a therapist that says, why did you hate your parents, or what happened in your childhood, and after a while they get tired of asking you because you don't know, it's because it's past life. Now, I'm not saying everything's past life, Lachelle. I'm only saying that 98% is past life. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
So,
Now, let me ask you this before you go on. So, how did you? I'm saying, how did you get to that point? Because you were already doing it. You wanted to dive deeper with the clinical. I mean, with the past lives. Now, so this is the equivalent of somebody who becomes a further master in their field. There was some
yeah,
quality
I see what you
that you
mean. Yeah,
had
yeah.
that had you go 10x or whatever, that can apply to anything. So what is it that you do that allows you to kind of not look at things the way everybody looks at them, if that makes sense?
Well, the fact I've worked with a few thousand people and
Okay.
found a commonality, and it's, remember, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. So, because again, I'd gone with the reading those books and that, and then realizing that I just simply asked, that I just mentioned, if you got a pain and like, or you got allergies and asthmas are all past life. Almost everything's past life. So what happened is that just you tell me what concerns there, and I say let your subconscious take you, because I know how powerful the subconscious is. It doesn't play games. If somebody thinks they made up something, this is funny. Occasionally, I get people that say, "Hey, wow, my 3 problems are gone, but I think I made it up." And I look at them politely and say, "You're not smart enough, and neither am I, because who would say that? Your conscious. The conscious has no memory. It has to get
Mm.
the memories from the subconscious. The subconscious doesn't play games. It's a computer. So if you said, I'm going to say, I think I'll say 1803, I'm going to make that up. That 1803 came from the subconscious, which already is the right answer. So you really are giving me the right answers. But the bottom line is, if you think you made it up, but the concerns are cleared up, which they will be, does it really matter? But
That is profound. So the consciousness has no memory.
no,
That
the
that's
only
awesome.
no, it's think of it as a processor. Well, okay, put it
Wow.
a slightly one way. Your conscious holds only what you did for the day. And why you have to sleep at night is because the conscious slows down, they join, everything you did for the day drops down, is filed and sorted. That's why like you ever remember studying for exams, and then after too much studying, after a while you start feeling thick. It's
Right.
because the conscious only holds so much. And if it's starting to bounce off, stop. But when you go to sleep, and if you don't get a good night's sleep, the next day you're still half full. That's why we don't feel great the next day with poor sleep. So I do help people with sleeping. But that's the only thing. So it's not really a memory. It just holds that's what a processor does. It just holds what you work on and then drops it down.
This is
So no,
why consistency is so important, and doing things, repetition is important in order to transfer from the consciousness to the subconsciousness.
well, repetition actually is because your subconscious does what you tell it, or repetition. Because, for example, if you ever have a job that you go to every day the same way, do you have to write down the address every day? It becomes
No.
automatic. You ever
Yeah.
drive home daydreaming and then you realize you get in the driveway and you go, oh God, I was going to stop and get some groceries because you were daydreaming and your subconscious doesn't want to kill you, so it knows how to take over your repetition, just like your job. People say you have you probably have expertise. Well, not really. You just did it enough times. So that's what it's all about. That's also why we get repetition of things like our negativity. People like to give you negativity more than positivity because most people are already working on negativity and they don't want people to be more positive than them. Like, don't talk to Johnny, he's got a cold, you're going to catch that cold. Well, if you hear that enough times, your subconscious says, oh my God, you just talked to somebody with a cold. I have to lower. Your subconscious is in control of your body. It can lower, it affects your immune system. So if you feel
Mm.
you're going to catch a cold, it lowers the immune system, so you're more likely to get it. One of my doctor friends, he confirmed that it happened to him. I had read that a lot of doctors and sometimes nurses often get the symptoms of what they're studying because they're studying so intently. He started laughing. He says, yes, he was studying rashes, and the next morning he had a rash on his arm. And not just the thinking of it, it was a physical rash because your body cells can be adjusted. That's why if you're thinking negative, if you just ignore aches and pains and stuff like that, often they'll go away on their own because you're not reprocessing or saying it again and again. So that's why we do that. But when you repeat stuff enough times, yes, it works on your repetition. But we get so many things. One of the worst things that I found is a certain type of people, and it's called hypochondriacs. A lady that I worked with said one day she went to, or she went to a coffee. She got invited by three older ladies to go to this Tim Hortons, a coffee shop up here in Canada. It's starting to get in the States. It's very popular. Anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
and they invited her to come and join them. She thought this kind of nice. She got in there. They got their teas and coffees and sat down. And all three of those ladies pulled out pill trays, opened them up, and started counting and bragging about who had the most pills to take.
Mm.
Seen those things. I mean, pill trays. You got
Yeah.
one,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them were for the side effects of the pills that you were taking
Right.
that you
We're
shouldn't
taking.
take you shouldn't take them in the first place. She said after about 3 or 4 days she stopped going because they were bragging about who had the most pills. That's the
Wow.
saddest. It's the saddest thing, because what it is, a hypochondriac learned when they were young. Don't. It's like, don't go to school, Johnny. You got a cold. Johnny doesn't like school. You just rewarded him. Subconscious says, okay, he likes that. He's happy. I'll help him. That's my job. I'll keep him sick so he doesn't have to go to school. Just sort of a nutshell of how it works. But hypochondriacs, they like the attention. That is the
Mm.
saddest attention you can get. That's why some people are sick all the time because, like I've seen on Facebook, somebody will put down, I've got a cold again. Within
Right.
an hour, there's about 20 things on there. Oh, take chicken soup, or I'm praying for you. So, like, they're looking for attention. If I
Right.
answer them, I'll just say, shh, don't say, leave it alone. But it's just ignore it. That's why I haven't had a headache for about 50 years. I learned how to get
Praise
headaches
God.
a long time ago because I didn't want them. So
Amen. That's good. Now, so what, I mean, this is just so fascinating. I mean, we're already over time, but
oh no,
what is, let's talk about the names of your books. So you showed us the fear and phobia. You've got three more. And then
so,
tell us, like, talk to that person who's watching that's like, I don't know about this past life stuff, or
mhm,
they want
mhm,
to kind of get this breakthrough. What would you
mhm.
tell them to kind of help them to embrace the idea? Because, we
Get
have a
one,
lot of
yeah,
family
yeah.
and
Get one of
negativity.
my books. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just starting to say the first one came out and it's case histories, know how to. It explains more about it a bit more. And I thought I would only do one, but next thing I know, when you got 20,000 case histories, and they didn't fit in. The fears and phobias was supposed to be in the same book, so I had to make a
Oh,
separate
okay.
one. Third one I call Life of the Past Lane, pardon me, Aches and Pains.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth one, I got two more to go, but I've got to try and promote these more, is Crimes Against Humanity. It's read for a
Mm.
reason, because this one deals with serial killers, Jack the Ripper, World War II atrocities, torture, dungeons, witches, sexual assaults. And
Mm.
it's not for the gore, it's to show people why you get a lot of stuff from Dungeons is one of the biggest things. We get IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, because they give you bad food. They also, you get fear of rats comes up there. Loss of weight or weight problems come from that. Chewing fingernails because you didn't have anything to eat, you chewed your nails. Libido. Libido is because you almost always got raped in dungeons because that's the guards were not, nice people, and a lot of stuff. So they're all in here. So it's not how to, it's there to see, wow, that could be fixed up, because again, I can't list the thousands of things that I've worked on. So the books have got a special on. If they mention your name,
Okay.
email me at the CL at pastliferap.com.
Okay.
The rap isn't rapping. It's just the short form for regression and progression, RAP. It's easier to put that in than spell
I
it out.
kind of think it's rapping, but go ahead.
Okay. You're a smooth talker. I like you. You're funny. So what it is that normally I do have some stores from touring, but most of them are either out of them or they're not open anymore. So if you want to get my books, they're normally $15 to $20 in the stores, but I got a deal. And you want to hear my deal?
Yes.
Sure. You should buy
I'm all
one.
for deals. I got 15 kids, so every little bit I can save. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
I thought it was 14. 15?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was 14. I missed one. Okay. Okay. One book, if you just order one, it's going to be $10. But
Okay.
if you order two books, $15.
Oh.
If you order three books, it's $20. If you
Okay.
get all four of them, it's 25. And if you
Okay.
get all four, I throw in my Relaxation Plus CD,
Oh, okay.
which is good for sleeping at night.
Okay.
So, and that's the money. So you just email me, and because what I do need to know is your mailing address, because you pay for the postage, not me.
Okay.
I don't have a white beard, well, too white, and a red outfit. I'm not Santa Claus, but it's still a pretty good deal. So that's the
Okay.
book. If they mention that they heard it from you, and email me. And
Awesome.
also, and real quickly, I also train people to do what I do.
Okay.
I've got graduates in the States, Delaware,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Delaware, California, some in Canada, and it's one-on-one using
Okay.
Skype. You get people still that say, "How big is your class?" And I said, "What part of one-on-one got you confused?" One-on-one. So I train you one-on-one, and you do some stuff on your own, and then you come back, and then we do some more. So and you can make a career from my training.
I love that.
And
That's good.
the thing is, your customers are only people with aches, pains, fears, phobias,
Right, which
debilitating
is a lot of
disease.
people. This is true.
Most of the world. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
People,
so tell us what is, I'm that person that's thinking about, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. What would you say to them about,
email me.
email you?
Email me. Yes, I've actually gone on like Zoom or Facebook Messenger and chatted with some of these people, because I can't
Okay.
type that much. It's a lot easier to explain. Also,
Right.
I get a good feel if it would be a fit for you, because basically I do have to listen to your voice level, because there are some people who talk so high pitched that hard to have people relax when a little
Oh,
higher and the dogs come in. Like, you've got a perfect voice for this.
well,
For
thank you.
yeah, because it's a calming voice, not a anyhow. That that
You look, you're not around me all the time because I have a lot of voices with these kids, okay?
I can imagine. Yes. So this is your nice voice. Okay. Well, one more quick thing. There listed some stuff that can be fixed. Migraine headaches are all past life. The
Oh,
pills you take for them only numb it. They do not fix it. I can take care of it. Fibromyalgia, another common thing. It's just body ache. Two of my doctors said, and he laughed and said that when they can't prove where your pain came from, they call it fibromyalgia, so you'll feel better. I
wow.
got a title to it. My percentage of fixing that is about 100%. And there's lots of stuff. Cracking knuckles, sleep, make you sleep better, lower back. I got a
Now,
list
so
here.
what do we when we have you come back? What are we going to talk about when you come
Well, I
back?
can give you more case histories
Okay.
and stuff, and because those are interesting, because there's still a few more. Like, birthmarks are not birthmarks; they're death marks.
Yeah, that's good. So
That's
we
because we're
need to.
aftershock. So
Well,
we're gonna.
yeah, we definitely are going to have you come back because you got to let people let it marinate. you know,
Yeah.
because some people haven't heard it before. So we got to let it marinate so they
Yeah.
can, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, but hey, some of this stuff is better than watching the news. Okay.
The news doesn't fix you.
I'm telling you, it
It
can make
scares
things a lot
you.
worse. Okay.
Mhm.
This is
Especially
true.
if it's not true.
Yes.
That's another long story. So,
So, well, I
but
am really glad that you came on tonight. Like I said, we are going to have a part two. So we're going to get together and figure out when that is, because I know this definitely would be quite a gem for the audience. I love
thank you.
being able to share new insights. And I'm not saying it's new because, this is something that you've been doing for some time. It's just
Five
new to
years.
me
Yeah.
and new to
Yeah.
some people in the audience, and I
Yeah.
love to be able to, we have to be more open to listen and think about what it is that the problems are. Like you said, aches and pains. You can take a pill that can cause you a lot of different side effects, or you can explore
Exactly.
different ways to get rid of that pain. So I really
Mhm.
like your approach to it.
It's a very simple thing, and you can learn it too.
Now,
Okay,
so
well,
what are your final words that you would say to everybody?
cl@pastliferap.com. Email me. Let me tell you more about it.
Awesome.
And there's lots of people out there that could make use of your service.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you again, Chris. I'm so glad we connected, and we are going to definitely have you back for part two.
Great, thank you. I'll be ready.
All right. You have a wonderful evening. Okay.
You too, Lachelle. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye for now.